Mount Redtooth, its top littered with man-made eyes that stare into the endless depths of space. Tonight, the champion of light will depend on them to pick out a message from the ether. As history repeats itself, the man remembers the patterns. He knows that he needs the missing part for the telescope.
Perché non sono mai passato. Una minchia si fa andare sopra. No, sto certo che sto facendo il giro di Pippo dei giri di Pippo. Salve, ma si sta tentando di fare ancora le robe. Mamma mia, come ho fatto a perderlo. Baldracco.
I know what you're thinking. Evil twin, supernatural powers.
In che senso?
But most of the time,
Mi senti
I
basso?
just like to keep things basic. I want you to understand that. Like this. Need to get your hands dirty? No batteries, no moving parts, just physics. That's technology you can depend on. It's a classic. Speaking of classics, you need to be careful with this one, though. If the victim suddenly twists, you might end up cutting yourself. It's not really a workhorse, but I'm a sucker for this style. Now this is more like it. You've got slip-resistant grip. Believe me, you really want that traction once you're wrist deep in somebody. The blade's stiff enough so it won't open by accident in your pocket, but it's still really easy to open with just one hand. Now that's a big thing for me. I know what you're thinking. It's too big, too heavy. But sometimes you just need the extra oomph. If you're talking intimidation, this is gonna do the job. Also great for dismemberings and whatnot. You know, the messy jobs. I can't tell you how many things I've MacGyvered.
Va bene, per questa volta, signor Graffio, me ne vado. I video me li guarderò un'altra volta. Sinceramente, non ho tempo da perdere. Per quello che ho letto, questo gioco lo tolgono alla mezzanotte del 31 e quindi devo finirlo prima di mezzanotte. I video me li guarderò dopo tranquillamente. Beh, diciamo che cosa? Ah, ho sbagliato. Credo che non si scriva così, non vorrei dire, però buon Halloween anche a lei. Quello lì è quello che si beve.
we can give this a go. Although I have this strange feeling that something will
Don't
go
start
wrong.
it up yet. There's a problem with the coolant system.
Yes, that's right. I remember.
No, mi tocca andare di fuori ancora.
If they're sabotaging it, they'll be at the primary coolant pipe outside. If you can secure it, we should be ready to pick up the signal. That is why you're here, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I'll take care of it.
Before you go, if you have the time, I'd appreciate if you came up here and explained a few things. All of this is very strange to me.
Apri questa puttana di una porta di merda di Satana. Vabbè, questa la leggiamo.
Stories come naturally to us. We can't help it. There are many different worlds, many competing realities within our heads, fueled by books, television, even barely remembered childhood tales. There's an endless supply of fictional concepts more familiar to us than anything or anyone real. We have a far greater connection to the fictional characters we know and love than the random people we pass on the street. Our destinies and inspirations are shaped by lies, myths, and fables.
Amen e speriamo che i nobili Padre, Figli e Spirito Santus finiamo questo gioco questa sera. Garantisce la sicurezza delle tubature principali. Ok. Adesso devo non ne ho abbastanza. Giustamente trovo tutte le pagine.
The Taken may well be the tool the darkness favors over any other.
Ciao Fabietto.
At some point, they used to be human.
Buona
Whatever
serata.
humanity they once
Anzi ti
had
chiedo
is
scusa se
long
non ti ho
gone.
risposto subito per
Now
la
we're just shells
questione
covered and filled with
Callisto
darkness.
Dead Space. Non credevo
The Taken
fosse una
Mr.
cosa così,
Rose are
diciamo,
more grotesque and varied
che
than
dovevi
the ones
scegliere
I first
subito, ecco.
encountered in Bright Falls. But I know how to deal with
Comunque ti ho
them.
risposto su
I'd be
Telegram,
lying
scelta
if I said
giusta.
they don't frighten me. But I've survived worse. I
Ti
can't
avrei
let them stop
risposto
me.
con Callisto anch'io. Ok. Ma devo andare qua? No, perché oggi ho fatto un paio di robe di qua di là, quindi... Poi la domanda era anche bella, come si dice, bella importante, dato che mi piacciono tutti e due i giochi. Quindi ti avrei fatto proprio il mega rispostone importante di qua di là, però vabbè. Ah, questo. No, ma ancora un po' di gente. Mortacci del pippazzo.
These beams hate the light, am I correct? All right, I'll start looking for the signal. Please, head back.
Molto bene la macchina. Sa che me ne devo levare dalle balle. Dove devo andare? Sono bloccato. Alla prossima Fabio, buon inizio settimana. Porca Eva. Mi sa che qua devo soltanto evitare, Alla madonna la botta. Ho sbagliato il tasto. Mamma mia quanto me la devo correre. Fuga. No, fuga, 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 se no mi tocca rifare. No, sta roba no, sì. Buono. Cosa? Come cazzo ho fatto entrare? Perché c'è tutto tipo buio?
It's working. Please, come up here.
Se mi tiri giù anche l'ascensore magari. Madonna la botta mi ha tirato quello stronzo. Cazzo, so due bengala. Madonna mi ha tirato una centra.
You find the signal?
Yes, I don't think it's quite the same thing we had, the last time. Still, we're definitely picking it up.
Are we getting the complete signal now?
I'm afraid not. Take a look at it yourself. I'm printing out a hard copy now. I'd like to ask you a question or two before that, though, if you don't mind.
What's on your mind, Doctor?
Most people would find these events extremely disturbing, provided that they survive these creatures, that is. You seem to be quite adept at dealing with the situation. Why is that?
Yes, I was involved in... It's a complex story. I was in this small town, and a horrible thing from another dimension kidnapped my wife and manipulated me into writing this horror story that came true. I learned to fight it with light, and I managed to contain it and free my wife. But I was trapped in its world.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. So, I'm used to reality working in strange or even impossible ways. And I've fought these things, not exactly like this, but close enough for a good while now. Of course, I have certain advantages. Was there anything else?
What did you mean when you said you have advantages?
At the risk of sounding like a lunatic, reality is much more fluid than people think. It can be influenced.
I didn't take you for a mystic.
I'm not. I'm a writer. And under certain conditions, I can, for lack of a better word, rewrite reality. Change things.
That's absurd.
But it works.
Assuming I believe this, why don't you simply, I don't know, write yourself some superpowers?
It's not quite that simple. You need to follow certain laws of drama, I suppose. You need to think about consistency and symbolism. Often what you write isn't anywhere near as important as what you imply. There are things out there that will take advantage of your mistakes.
You really believe in this?
Don't look at me like that. You've experienced some of this yourself.
I will gladly admit that something exceedingly strange is going on. But this idea that you're somehow altering reality with your writing is
Another
ridiculous.
printout.
You're essentially
Another
controlling
signal
my actions.
fragment.
Leaving aside
The
the
message
rational-
is still not complete, but it's another piece of the weapon he has built against his adversary. Mere words on a piece of paper, but in the right hands, they will hold back the darkness